Welcome back to the show. So we are ready to go into the next map now, which is going to be Cash. We are due the opinions of Halvor and Janko. Halvor, where do you think this is going to go?
I think this is going to go to a third map, so G2 picking up Cash. I think we're going to see a better performance than we did on the first map, and I think we're definitely going to see a better performance on Cash than we did yesterday versus Arcade from G2's side. I think they probably should have figured out a couple of things that they did wrong.
I do believe Maikelele says that this is their best map, and since they're on a hunt for an in-game leader, Overpass is probably one of the worst maps they could possibly play considering the style of the map. What are you expecting, Janko, from G2 on this?
I say no, sir. I think that Dignitas is going to win it 2-0. Something just seems off in the G2's team lately. I don't know what it is, but they don't seem to be on point at all and in any aspect of the game. So, yeah, they're probably the favorites on this map. It's one of their best maps, as you pointed out, but Dignitas is also pretty decent on this map. They play it as well. Not one of their strongest map, but still, I think it's going to be closer than Overpass, but I still think that Dignitas is going to take it 2-0.
Okay, and Dan?
Yeah, it's funny for me with G2, isn't it? Because of course they removed Dennis, and of course Dennis went to Fnatic, which is great for Dennis. But and aizy coming in, aizy was kind of waiting, and everyone's expecting him to land a great team after all of his performances. And initially he was playing quite well with G2. It seemed like he meshed like almost immediately, but maybe it's just like a very short honeymoon period or something. Because now it does seem like they are much more disjointed than they used to be. Because at the major, sure, they were all overperformed, but the team play was actually really strong, and that was what always surprised me, because I never thought that team would have great team play, but it did at the major. And so now I'm just kind of a little bit flabbergasted as to what's going wrong as well, and looking forward to maybe getting into this Cash and maybe working it out.
Well, we will see if G2 can right the ship. They did win the knife, and they're going to be starting on the CT side. Personally, I think, again, this is what G2 think is their favourite map, but I think in terms of strategy, Dignitas may be offering strong opposition to them on this map, so could go either way, but of course, Dan, I'm not going to pick.
Of course, James, of course. I just want to see good anti-ecos, because this is always the thing, right? It's like the thing that should be guaranteed, and Dignitas have been showing it so far, and G2 are one of the most dangerous teams to actually have those pistols, so it's very important against them.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, yeah, Dignitas did a really good job of that on the first map, so I wouldn't expect anything different going into Cash.
Okay, well, it is pistol time. We've seen a fair bit of Cash so far in this Road to Vegas tournament. A lot of retake A styles, although we have Rain and aizy heading towards the A site, so I think they're going to be a bit deeper. And it seems Rain is indeed headed straight into T main, so there is a player MSL over towards Squeaky Door. Is a split coming?
What looks to be the case as they do get themselves onto the bomb site. Rain's out there in the middle of all the action, taking 2 frags, but just as quickly as he gets them, they are returned by the opposition in Dignitas. The Danes march strong onto the A bomb site, and the bomb is now going to be set as Config covers with great expertise, leaving jkaem, who had a pretty poor first map, all alone, and Dignitas, with a simple split, get it done.
Very surprising to see G2 not getting more out of that after Rain gets 2 opening frags. Definitely should have been possible for Maikelele to pick up someone coming up from that, or basically shut the split into just a singular push. So I think it's perfectly fine for G2 to give up the bomb set in that situation, but you need to get some of the guys crossing over.
Okay, so everyone apart from Fox has gone for the force buy on this occasion. Fox will of course be saving for the big green gun. We can expect him to be holding down the B bomb site, which we know he can do very strongly indeed. But for now, Dignitas will be on another anti-eco round, which have been quite successful. Won a fair few pistols as well. We'll have to pay attention to who wins the pistol in the second half, and what kind of deficit the losing team will have. But for now, Dignitas using the time they have, still over a minute on the clock, and again, we've seen some failures from other teams on Cash in this tournament where they haven't had any significant map advantage with 30, 40 seconds left on the clock. Dignitas in position for the splits already with tenzki over towards the B halls.
Only 1 nade, as Skating points out. This is going to probably go towards spawn, and then we're going to see just brute forcing from Dignitas onto the B bomb site.
Well, that's the first frag. 2 players on the site though, looking to get the close range engagements, but Dignitas doing a great job and not losing a single player. This is falling flat in its space for G2 as everybody dies, and it's just Rain left. And one thing I would want to point out, because we'll probably see it in the future as well, is that, or it actually probably depends on the utility situation. Of course, as pointed out, Dignitas didn't really go for any utility. They actually have all the rifles instead, bought more powerful weapons instead of maybe getting a Mac 10 and more nades. But they had a guy very passively towards A main, a guy very passively towards B storage, and then 3 players had sort of a coordinated coordination onto the middle area to take that space. And then once they took that space, they waited for an aggression from GT. When it didn't come, they decided, okay, let's go on to B based on what we've seen. And so I quite liked how coordinated that round was from Dignitas.
It was... Whoa, there we go. Well constructed from Dignitas, no doubt. And that's kind of the same story as we saw in Overpass as well. This time they make up for the fact that they have a deficit in utility by only having 1 smoke, but pushing together quickly in.
Well, it's going to be a sea of bullets over towards the B bomb site, and Maikelele will try to do something, but more likely to be nothing in this situation. Tenzki flying into his crosshair there, trying to avoid being headshot, and he will get the job done. So now we're going to be onto the buy from G2. We'll see what their grenade situation is following that force buy. You can see the grenade situation will be lacking. Fox on the AWP. 3 smokes. We'll see if there's one headed towards mid and how they'll manage mid considering this lack of grenades. No Molotov for the boost spot. Dignitas though, maybe seems going for a fast B play perhaps, trying to break the buy early. We will have the usual Fox and jkaem situation over here. Normally they go for the initial peaks and then have a timing to put Jake into the boost position, but there's going to be 3 players headed his way and he's stuck in the corner for now. He's made his way onto the site. Kjærbye's gone down. Fox is behind the box, able to save his teammate, but now he's got support from the vents.
Yeah, it's looking quite difficult here for Dignitas to break their way in, and perhaps they should give up the ghost at this point because they have not gained any ground at all. Fox is still wreaking havoc there at the back, but finally he'll go down. MSL and tenzki making their efforts onto the bomb site, so it's going to pan out in that sense after all, but there's still 2 players left on G2's side to try to retake this situation as the bomb looks to be planted. But tenzki first of all wants to get himself a fast frag before planting, and that would definitely improve their chances if he was to do that. But G2 with good cognizance of the situation, but tenzki even better, taking down aizy. And now the one-on-one ensues as the bomb can be planted, and the pressure is on Maikelele to go close as tenzki goes for the peek with the flash. Now he's out of utility. Maikelele with a smoke. Wonder whether he's going to use that. Looks like he just goes for the engagement. tenzki with a great control of this recoil is going to find the kill and clutch the round for Dignitas. 4-0, that was G2's chance.
So one of the positive things for G2 is the fact that during the game versus Arcade yesterday, they had a real struggle actually holding on to that B bomb site. jkaem and Fox didn't get anything done really all that game. So for them to put up more resistance now, that's a good thing for G2. How that 1v2 was played out, not so much. That's a pretty bad sign. I think Maikelele is way too passive actually in trying to punish tenzki for pushing that aggressively out to pick up aizy. That should have been an easy trade kill.
G2 on the eco. Again, spread out, all in 1v1s. So not combining the guns together as we saw Dignitas do on Overpass. 2 players over towards the A site now. Let's see what Dignitas' play is this time. There's the first pick. MSL holding tight angles and they will pay off. Rain being lost as well. tenzki just holding outside the B bomb site, waiting for any more aggression from G2. We'll see if Dignitas choose to bunch up and start moving towards the side. You can see one G2 player close to T main on A. That spot flash will come in. We've got a few Molotovs on the T side on this occasion. See if they put one towards the forklift. One going onto the site itself. aizy with the CZ won't be able to get anything done here. Fox and jkaem, last man standing. Fox completely blind in a strong position, but not when you can't see. And Dignitas will survive a clean round.
I just want to say I love that the pop flash was there for that position, because I know that's one of your favorite positions to be like, oh my god, that.
Yeah, it's a very strong position indeed.
Yeah. Do you like my impression?
Not bad.
Thank you. Alright, 5-0. Here we go. Double up for G2.
Yeah.
Very good point though about the flashbang as well.
And again, these double up purchases from G2 are such a big investment, but Fox doing the same thing in versus Arcade actually. Pushing aggressively as soon as he gets his hands on it.
So aizy taking down MSL, but Kjærbye's in the boost, and you can see the importance of the grenades for G2. Again, that Molotov coming down onto the B spot to slow down Dignitas and stop them being able to impose their will, at least immediately. Man advantage for G2 now. And jkaem went for a push there through B, but he was taken down by RUBINO, which will change the balance of things in this round.
So aizy, does he realize? I don't know that he does. He does feel some presence nearby, but he's not sure exactly how close it's going to be. But RUBINO will go down regardless, and Kjærbye's going to sneak around, and there you go. Takes down aizy in the back, as we've got 2 players now for G2, both wielding the AWPs, the big sniper rifles, but it won't matter. Fox will take down Kjærbye, and Config is not long for this world. We have a score now for G2. They've got 1 round on the board.
But heading towards Fox is just not a good idea, it seems.
It's quite funny, isn't it? Because we used to see Fox get a lot of flack because they forced him onto like secondary or even like the 3rd AWPer. Why? Why would he ever do that? I'm glad that it's been set right.
Well, let's see if he can get flashed off his position. He's going to be aggression here. Wouldn't like to do as well. Not sure if he got a bit of a tag there. If not, it was not significant damage. jkaem again is going to be in that strong position. We've seen him get 4Ks from here before getting the 2. Lots of information for a team that will slow down Dignitas as well. And they know they still have to deal with Fox. Flash is coming in, but they're not committing to the site, knowing that it might be unfavorable for them. But then what are their options here? They're trying to boost out of the vent, but aizy's waiting for them. aizy getting taken down now. So options open to Dignitas. The A site's been abandoned by G2.
This is a pretty unnecessary over-rotation from G2 in the first place, actually. They haven't been put under enough pressure to actually warrant just leaving everything at all.
I guess maybe because jkaem saw more players, but he did stop them. So, well, either way, we have the push coming in, and Fox is going to get the first kill before going down. Rain with a timely push, but we do get a team kill there, actually. Not Rain's frag after all. It's going to go to a 1 versus 1. Very, very brave plant from himself, straight out in the open. There are smokes to cover him. He will be smoked a low area. Spots Maikelele. Oh, the bullets! Oh, then that was as he was dropping as well. So, because he was aiming nowhere near where the position of his opponent actually was, MSL. So, G2 will save it, but they lose every player but 1.
Yeah. No, but it's perfectly fair that jkaem spots more people, but I don't think you need a 4-man rotation that is continuously around that B-bomb site when the entire push is stopped from Dignitas. Because jkaem does a really good job of slowing everything down, and Fox doesn't see anyone come through or hear anything, no more nades, anything like that happening for about a good 20 seconds.
Well, Dignitas will be losing the round, but they will have, you could argue, a superior buy to the CT side. aizy on the FAMAS, lacking grenades as well.
Dignitas just setting up for a pretty standard holder as of right now. Not too much happening. Just waiting to see if G2 are willing to go aggressive.
So it's all about to kick off. We have RUBINO looking to get the distraction in. That's waiting for some nades as well. And there is a counter flash actually preemptively from G2, so it seems to be that they feel that this is about to be an A hit. They wouldn't be wrong. Bomb is down, though, in a more passive position behind the A main area, so that's a bit indicative to us that Dignitas are just going to harass, try to cause a bit of a rotation, but they're not necessarily going to commit. They still have a player lurking towards B storage as well. Would expect tenzki to put more pressure on, though, if they were going for that push into A, but he is holding back very far, in fact. And now the bomb is indeed rotating, so G2 very confused at the moment.
There are 25 seconds on the clock here. What is the play from Dignitas? This is a big gamble they're taking because they have no frags. MSL suiciding onto the A site. 15 seconds now, trying to cause a rotation, and Fox is coming in. They need to cross the site, but Fox is not going to allow it. The bomb's on the floor. There are 10 seconds left now. Can they get the plant? The bomb's only just been picked up, still not on the site. Fox sees the bomb planter. Going to get the connection on this time. Going to kill RUBINO, and Config will be left. So a bit of indecision perhaps by Dignitas. Just not leaving themselves with enough time. That is definitely unlike them.
I think actually what they wanted to do was set up for a double fake in that situation. That was the intention all along, but Rain is able to pick up the last guy remaining in that double fake instantly, so there's no more pressure put on the bomb site. So it's very evident on G2's end, because there's no more pressure, there's no more sound coming in from that entire area, that it's going to be another fake.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure here again, but it is the man jkaem. always loving these forward spray down positions. He's so good at it. Only a 1-for-1 though this time around, which is definitely going to allow Dignitas to reconsider their options and not be really at disadvantage. But they do push the issue though. Raid in by Vets will find some players as aizy locks down middle. So G2 holding things together, and it really appears to me that Fox is, if Fox is not performing, where would G2 even be? This guy is massive for the team. RUBINO is the last man standing, and aizy's going to finish him off. But this consistency out of Fox, honestly, it's astounding.
He's playing super well, and that's one of the big differences from yesterday. Now they're actually able to hold back people from that B bomb side and actually defend it properly without giving it up easily. Even jkaem, even though he's not having a masterful game by any means, he's actually killing people here and there, which is more than you could say about his performance yesterday.
Again, we've got the Molotovs coming down onto the boost spot. Smoke's coming down onto A main. Looks like a fast play from Dignitas on the fourth spy with some CZ, some Galils, not many grenades. And the hold is good so far. They're just running into the crosshair of Rain. He's got himself a 3-man so far. He may get an ace, we'll have to see. He doesn't have much health left. Team are swarming the site. There's a flank coming in as well. Config is the last one standing. Rain's going to take him. So 4-man for him. jkaem stealing the 5th. G2 survive with 3 players. Now the money's starting to disintegrate here for Dignitas.
Yeah, it really is, isn't it? They're forced to get some pistols together. And this is a much more respectable first half from G2 compared with Overpass. And again, it's interesting because it's mostly been Fox who's just so consistently taking so many frags that's putting them at the disadvantages and slowing them down. He's always playing B with jkaem as well. I wonder if we'll see an adjustment from Dignitas in any sense strategy-wise with more A hits, but nice pop flash for aizy to go in, and it's absolutely perfect, but aizy this time around won't be, as we have him going down for free almost, as Maikelele getting 1 deek there by Config and Rain. 2 players now buried by Config's Deagle, and now jkaem and Fox will make their way in, but this is going to be a tough one.
Yeah, Dignitas don't necessarily need to show too much. We'll see if G2 are opting for the save. It seems they are. And that really, you have to rue that so much. You get popped, flashed in, you see all the players, you don't get a single frag. Too many targets.
Oh my god.
Config taking down jkaem as well. You're not allowed to look the way of Config. Don't look him in the eyes.
This guy should be arrested.
If you ever go to a zoo and you look a gorilla in the eyes, they take it as aggression. That's why they start banging the windows down. Don't look Config in the eyes. He's got a deagle. It's even worse.
Indeed. And I do wonder if they will just start going for more A stuff. Fox is too strong, man. He's too strong. I'd rather take him on a retake situation than trying to go through it to B.
Yeah, no, I'd definitely go towards that A bomb site. Maikelele hasn't hit an op shot all game.
He has 1 kill at the moment.
Yeah.
So definitely need
And
to
Fox is
exploit
like
the underperformer.
900.
Yeah, pretty much.
The Fox jkaem B holds are definitely fun to watch. We'll see if Dignitas can break G2 elsewhere.
Ooh, Rain.
Ooh, Rain's gone backwards off the diving board thanks to Config, who's finding yet more headshots. The new boy, one of the new ones for Dignitas. You should see Maikelele on top of the smoke there to get some revenge for his fallen teammates.
It's good to see him push aggressively in there. Actually take an aggressive stance early on and not just relying on pop flashing, which is also nice to get information, but actually just taking an aggressive position in A to mess with Dignitas, especially when Rain has seen so many people around the boost.
Okay, so Maikelele jumping up, and he is going to get absolutely wrecked there. So the G2 buy is falling apart now. Fox is the lone ranger here, taking down tenzki. We'll see if he chooses to push. Can he get some more fast frags? That's a nice flashbang. Doesn't see Config below him. Not fast enough. Scopes in, but can't get the mouse in the right place at the right time. And G2 have been sent backwards. You can see their money has been broken with 3 rounds remaining in the first half.
Not the dream scenario for G2 right now. And, well, Dignitas seemingly figuring out that A is the place to go right now. Finding openings there over and over.
A is the place to be.
Very nice, Dan. I know you're happy with yourself.
You mean incredibly lame?
I will engage you
And
in your
someone
nonsense, Dan. It was nice.
I should be dragged down to the street and shot, James. Let's be honest. At least I understand that. But yeah, these pistols not looking to do too much. Bit of a spam through the wall there. That's quite a nice little bit of damage actually to these Kevlar-less players. Now, Dignitas going in for their middle take. Again, this is something they've done on a lot of their anti-ecos. They have a bit of coordination as to how they move, who moves there, where, at what time, who throws what nade. And they're building into a B play. So simple stuff, and you would expect it to work swimmingly well.
Yeah, G2 have pushed around though, so they do have the information that this is going to be B take again, but weapons might be too much.
Yeah, the wraparound is good, and most players here are going to go down. Rain, the last man standing, is cowering, if you will. Well, I wouldn't say cowering, probably a little bit harsh, but he's just going to wait for the exit frags, which is actually the smart play. He's playing smart. He's got a very nice headshot angle as well with the P2000 that he's carrying, the stock pistol. And Dignitas not showing a single player just yet. There is one coming though. And who is it actually? Is it himself? It is going to be tenzki. So clean round from Dignitas. Clinical.
Perhaps surgical.
Config again being a big performer for the team.
One AWP on both sides. MSL picking up the big green gun now. Fox AWP no armor. He is fast. One of the fastest AWPers, I think, when it comes to holding angles, actually. So we'll see if he can be quick enough on the trigger finger. Standard setup towards B. We'll see if tenzki is able to engage, although it looks like it's going to be a two-man push through B, actually. See, Fox is looking to get an advantage for his team. Angle's being held, but he's just too fast. tenzki unable to fire a single bullet. MSL trying to get a revenge frag here. Forced off his position by the flash, but he knows there's a player stuck there. The Molotov coming in towards Rain, but there's more flashes coming in. Kjærbye's being taken down by aizy in the meantime. That smoke will definitely help. Oh, the distraction. aizy taking down MSL as well. Great round for G2 so far.
Yeah, hitting all their shots at the moment, and Dignitas left with their performer here in config, but finally we get a lot of fragging from G2. It's interesting actually. I mean, they do have some rounds on the board, but this possibility for the 9-6 is very, very real. And I'm not sure how confident I am for G2 having a strong T side. It's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out.
It wasn't very good yesterday, and even though they've somewhat played better today, I'm not overly positive about how their future prospects look. But getting that 7th round should be a good start. Now we're going to see the run boost from Maikelele up on the double boxes here, and this could be a pretty good position given the fact that Dignitas didn't hear it.
Well, RUBINO was right up behind the wall, so I do wonder. You saw him react when he heard an impact, but will he detect that the boost is there? That is another question altogether.
It could be that once the smoke runs out in A main, you're going to see MSL and config kind of slowly push forward to just take out Maikelele by themselves. If RUBINO actually
you can wallbang that as well, I think, right? From the yeah, I'm pretty sure you can wallbang that position.
You can at least wallbang it from the B, from the A halls. That's for sure. It
would be very cool to see that. I do wonder if RUBINO heard that as well, because he was standing in squeaky. But either way, we'll have the smoke there from MSL. And Maikelele is sitting up there. Perhaps they'll check once they run through. Fox doing his usual things here, getting aggressive in B storage, who actually whipped the shot. And again, almost getting punished fully, but he's going to have to fall back. He's not going to lose his life just yet. He's low on HP. 4 players that he spotted now. Quickly moving onto his position. He's at the back, and there's no escape. He gets the shot somehow, and jkaem comes in for support. And suddenly, everybody is dying from Dignitas.
Yeah, Fox hit RUBINO as well through his teammates. So RUBINO's less on 16 HP, is able to get the bomb down though. The last 2 players are going to be on the site, although one's pushed the smoke. Is aizy going to detect it? No, he's not. tenzki going to take him down. They know checkers is clear. Once off on the site, RUBINO going to be forced from his position, but no frag yet. tenzki's down. RUBINO is alone with 16 HP. He needs to find himself 2 headshots. There's the first one. Rain going down. Maikelele dancing around the box. He'll get the frag through the box itself. And G2 will survive the last round. 7-8.
That's a pretty... It's kind of a crazy first half, actually. I mean, again, I'm not confident in the second half for G2 because it felt like, honestly, like Fox, having the ability to have Fox defending, that seemed to give them a lot of space and breathing room to work with. But on the T side, I don't expect him to get as much action.
Yeah, no, he doesn't really have the same opportunity to have the same impact on his own. So I would definitely agree with that, and that is the biggest worry for me going in as well, especially how poor they were yesterday. On their T side, they really ran out of ideas from what it seemed like. So, bit worried. Hopefully, they've talked things through from yesterday and decided that the rush B, rush A, rush mid kind of deal is not the way to go about it.
Oh yeah,
especially
I
if
remember
it's
that
a
now.
team like Dignitas. But it remains to be seen. At least the players are playing, I would say, at a slightly higher level than yesterday. At least Fox is.
Well, Maikelele's not hitting shots at the moment, so
Yeah, at least not with the AWP, that's for sure.
Well, you have to wonder what that is how that's gonna work in the T side. I mean, maybe sometimes you don't hit anything on one half,
Yeah.
depending on the style you play, and if you're afforded another style to play on the other half, and you do start hitting shots, so we can look out for that and see how they choose to do that. I wasn't paying attention to if Ruben was actually on the server, because I know yesterday he was there in the coach position. I'm not sure if he's in the coach role with him today, and if there will be an impact on that.
I'm not really sure if he was there either. I think judging from yesterday, he didn't have any impact at all. If anything, it wasn't positive. So I don't really think that's going to make any difference at all if he's there or not today. I think it's more of a it's just more like he's a symbol, I guess, to the team. It doesn't really have any effect, not yet, because it would take longer than the week they've been together for him to have a proper impact on how they play and how he can instill his way of playing Counter-Strike on the team.
Dan, with the score at 7-8 in favour of Dignitas, do you think G2, who look a bit shaky at the moment, have enough rounds on their CT half, or what are you expecting? Who do you think this favours at the moment?
Yeah, I was thinking about that actually, and it does seem like I feel like they needed more because, again, as Halvor pointed out, they seemed very, very lost yesterday, and it feels like only a natural thing to result to take away into this as far as the analysis is concerned. When it came to their approach, it was very inconsistent. They were looking for picks. They started to force the issue here, there, and everywhere else. Dignitas on Overpass, they showed that they're a team that have good defensive setups, something that Janko mentioned. They're a team that has a good, consistent approach overall. So I would expect them to be able to easily deal with it and read the situation. So I don't think I don't think they have enough, is what I'm trying to say, I suppose. I think they needed a lot more. But yeah.
Well, we saw them try to force the pick style on Overpass, which is not really the best map for it, especially against a team like Dignitas. Have to question if they're going to go for the same style on Catch. Again, it's what they would say is their own best map, or if they will try to execute some more technical strategy.
Yeah. I mean, again, with G2, sometimes they just need the players to hit their shots, and because they got such immense skill, FACEIT gets going, boom. jkaem gets going, boom. There's so many different players that once they start hitting their stride, then you're good to go. But we are into this one now. The pistol for the second half has begun.
So there was a slight error with the bot running the server. So the score is 7-8 in favour of Dignitas, and we'll keep you updated on what the score is. But they've had to go for a hard reset here to get things moving quickly. Maikelele is the only one standing for G2, so not a good start from them on the T side. You can see the bomb down, and Maikelele will be dispatched of by Config Express Delivery.
4 kills for Config, man. This guy is having a stellar series.
And there we saw pretty much 2 strategies going: the movable object versus
Unstoppable force.
Yeah, exactly. So just clash together, and Config coming out for the better in that situation by quite some margin.
For the win.
Yeah.
Don't hear that one anymore. 2 players moving from the G2 side towards the B bomb site. Again, the force fire is in, but they're just going for the picks, it seems. Not much, if anything, in the name of grenades. Just pot shots being taken. That's a nice one. So aizy's done some damage here, but how can G2 get on a bomb site? That's the main question.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Their force buys against Dignitas have been largely deflated fairly easily, at least on the first map, due to the way that Dignitas approached this, and they are making their way in now, as we see aizy looking for the Deeg shots, making his way into the vents. That is a bit of a tell as well for Dignitas. So as to the intentions of G2 in their lineup, but MSL is stuck here alone, as we have him having to defend. Can he hold this down? He can just get more frags. He's got 2 already. That's actually more than enough at this point, considering the flank that's coming in. It's not even had a chance to have any effect. Looks like MSL did everything that was required of him in that round, and they didn't lose a single player. That's, again, they are showing consistency there against G2.
MSL took a nice mini decision as well, where he was trying to face off Maikelele with an ump, but he transferred for the M4 of his teammate to get a better range advantage.
It seems like Dignitas is showing consistency in having good anti-ecos, and G2 are just showing consistency in not having a plan.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, I suppose.
The current score is 10-7 in favour of Dignitas. G2 looking to charge up short perhaps, but there are 2 players on the A site, so we're going to see the double peek coming in from the CTs, and now tenzki just going to play support and jump over the top with the UMP. Another nothing round coming in for G2. 1 kill onto tenzki from aizy, and we will be into the buy. The all-important buy round for G2. 5 AKs, reasonable amount of nades onto Maikelele and aizy. Others will be somewhat lacking. And Dignitas, it seems, will continue with the UMP onto MSL.
Yeah, 11-7. This is going to be maybe the best chance that G2 will have for a while to actually win a round against Dignitas, because they've got superior weaponry. And now they're attacking into the A bomb site. So in goes a nade from tenzki that is actually going to go a little bit too deep to do any damage to G2. And it's like he's got a good beat on what potentially could be happening. The boost over the top of the smoke. Maikelele looking for the frag. Flash comes in, not good enough. Maikelele has to hit the spray, and he will. And that's going to cue the push from aizy. He's going to get the follow-up frag. And now the A bomb site is open, and the bomb will be planted.
So we've got a boost over from RUBINO. There's one player in main, that's Rain. He's going to get taken down. That's going to leave G2 having to focus on main as well with one player. But the CT's moved around to the squeaky door. MSL trying to sandwich now, and G2 don't have that many angles with which to hold, but there's a flank coming in from Fox on shot, takes down one, gets traded, 3 versus 2 now in favour of G2. Play goes down on the site, leaving aizy alone versus RUBINO. Coming in with a pop flash, but doesn't get it out fast enough, and RUBINO will take the round. A quick nerd note, when you smoke off a main, there's almost always a gap where Maikelele was standing. Often people will stand on the lockers to look over it, but it does require a jump, so the boost is quite novel. Did get them the opening frag.
So looked like a pretty nice round for G2. They didn't really have to do anything extraordinary to get onto the side. Finding the opening pick from Maikelele really just opens things up. But again, Config coming up with some great frags doing the retake from Dignitas really just opens things up for them.
Config has been so beast. It's really, really cool to see that, because with the changes to the lineup, there was a lot of expectation put on him, a lot of hype put on him, and he's actually delivered with consistency and discipline.
Yeah.
So
a lot of people actually said that there's no way Dignitas could come winningly out of this transfer because aizy was so good, but here you have Config just doing pretty much the same thing.
yeah, with RUBINO, and tenzki seems to have added a stability to the team that we hadn't previously seen.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see how that develops. And right now in this round, G2 looking to force Dignitas to that eco, just trying to get the first kill and not having too much luck in the early stages of the round. We're into the middle phase where they need to start moving to get some gain some ground, and they are beginning to do so. Going over the top and middle, forcing out Dignitas from their positions, and there's the first frag made by RUBINO in the defensive effort. 4 versus 4, as time is running out here for G2.
And numbers are running out as well. G2 starting to move into the A site as they're losing the numbers. They had a lurker basically on both ends, so Jkaem trying to force the issue. Getting taken down 1 by 1. No trades here for G2. 4 versus 1. Just Fox alone with the AK in mid.
I think you just hit the nail on the head there, James. No trades. We didn't see a single situation where G2 actually got into position to trade for each other. So we had pretty much 4 different pushes at 4 different times that all ended up in 4 G2 deaths with nothing to gain from it.
Just to clarify as well, it is 13-7 for Dignitas, as we had the E-bot crash, so that's why it reads 5-0 there. 13-7 in favor of Dignitas. They are now 3 away from winning, and of course they have quite a favourable situation in this round, of course.
Indeed they do, as Jkaem is the only man who has an AK. This is a force buy for G2, looking to execute over towards the A sites, but they have 1 flash to execute with, and that's it. Got 2 players in position here for the CTs, and almost a 2-man spray down. Much damage done to the remaining Ts, and they're falling 1 by 1. 2 versus 3, but there's not much of the 2 left here for G2. Nice spray from RUBINO to finish things off there. G2 are in a lot of trouble.
They really are. 2 more rounds. This is the last stand now for G2. The last stand, as they did lose map number 1 as well, if you are just joining us. So they are facing elimination against Dignitas here.
And they're going to have to hope for Fox to find something big with that off.
Maikelele creeping around the corner of the smoke, trying to escape after having no luck. Going fishing, but he definitely drowned. Man advantage for the Dignitas side. So what is the play? What is the reaction from G2? They have a lurker in the squeaky door. They still have a lurker towards B, similar to the last round when they started losing players. Then they were down to 3, and we saw a solo push into the A site, and we know that didn't work out. It's still a 0 on the score of G2. jkaem goes down. He was the man to push last time. What is the play now? We've got the rotator from B to pick up the bomb, but MSL is pushing through T warehouse at the same time.
Uh-oh, this is not looking good for G2. They've got the flank coming, they don't know about it, and they can't even get through the choke point. Again, they're just dying one after another, and there it is, boom, from the side, MSL. Fox has to look 2 directions at once. It is actually impossible to do that, so he's going to die, and that's going to be 7-0 in this half, which means that Dignitas are now on match points. One more, and they move to the finals for the European segment of the road to Las Vegas.
Indeed, those casino buffets are getting close. They can almost smell them. They are sometimes gourmet, unless you go down to Fremont Street where they might be a little bit more ghetto. 5 AKs for the G2 side. They've got minimal nades, trying to go for a fast play in mid. Players will be lost for both sides. The bomb, of course, is in T-spawn.
Of course it is. Bit of an oversight there from the G2 side, as jkaem is doing some work by A, but as you say, that bomb being down is a little bit of a...
I don't understand. They're still running out further into mid, further out on A, while the bomb is currently being retrieved. Like, what are you gonna do with actually the map control you gained there? It's gonna be so hard to hold when you're pushing out alone.
Well, and they've been punished for it as well. Although they are recovering, they are making something of this after all. As RUBINO and Config go in for the retake. Bomb now ticking away, and RUBINO's scanning with that AWP, and he will find, like Terminator mode has been engaged for RUBINO. Fox's head is rolling on the floor as it's aizy at the back to try to save this one for G2, but can he do it? Had the best performance so far in the series. One player is low, and RUBINO's going to get it done. And Dignitas are going to close and eliminate G2. Dignitas in the finals now.
Indeed, Dignitas will move on, and G2 will be forcibly removed from the tournament. So a bit of an upset for some of the desk. Although I think Janko, you are fairly confident of this result.
Yeah, well, I think I was right in a sense that G2 seems off in some way. They're not playing as their usual level of play, and individually, as you saw in the last round as well, they push out on A while their bomb, the C4 is still in T-spawn, and starting out in this game, they had a bad start again. They were down 5-0 on the CT side, but then with some heroic performance from Fox, they managed to pull it back, and I actually thought that maybe there's hope for them now, that maybe now they're gonna gain some momentum, but then they have that a bit unlucky round, the anti-eco round they lost with, where Config had 3 sick one-shots with the Deagle as well, and there have been a lot of close clutch rounds in the first half, but moving on to the second half, you can see that they didn't even stand a chance there. So even if they got more rounds in the first half, I still think that they would ultimately lose the game. And Dignitas has been the most impressive side in this whole EU side of the bracket for me so far. I think they're going to be clear favorites in the final.
With how drilled the MSL's teams are, it seems that the more mistakes you make, well, it seems a bit Captain Obvious, but I think his team's very good at exploiting holes in games of teams here, which we may have seen today.
Absolutely, and that's kind of what you want for. That's what you look for when you build a team up from fundamentals instead of just solely relying on individual skill, because then you always have something to fall back on. And I think MSL teams do that very well, and I think also that's why you're seeing such a big gap or such a big deficit that G2 end up losing with, because when they fall flat, they fall really flat, and teams like MSL's teams are the one who punish that the hardest out of anyone. So, yeah, still, I didn't expect G2 to be this bad. Like, it's just...
Yeah, to add to that point as well, that some of the things in G2's game plan that would be weak, let's say if it's like overall strategy or if they're not too consistent, somehow they can fall back because their skill's so high on the force buy situations, because often in the force buy situations, usually you take those as kind of like an opportunity cost situation where you're saying, instead of saving money and getting a good buy-in later, we're going to try to reset this team right now. And usually they're one of the teams with better statistics there because the individual skill's so high. But as Halvor mentioned, with the entire idea of the way MSL will lead the team and the anti-ecos we're seeing, he's going to minimize the chance for a team like that to exploit their individual skill. And so that it's like the perfect team almost for Dignitas to play in that sense. So I'm not too surprised by the result after what we saw recently from G2.
Yeah, I just want to expand on that point for a little bit. So it's not just about winning the round, it's the way they win it. They lose such a few guys doing it, especially in the rounds where the other team is on a full equal. Like they only have USPs, they will rarely lose even a single player there. So you can see how in this particular map on Cash, so they were up 5-0. Then G2 managed to bring 5 rounds in a row, but all those 5 rounds were buy rounds for Dignitas. That's how much cash they got. They accumulated in the first 5 rounds. They were able to buy 5 rounds in a row. So that gives you so much room to work with as a team. You know, not being forced to go on an eco and basically give a free round to the opposing team. So props to MSL and to the whole team.
Well, now Dignitas can sit back and watch the next match and see who they will be facing in tomorrow's final. It will be a Polish showdown. If we can bring up the schedule, we can show exactly what matches remain today. There's one more European match, which is going to be Vexed versus CSGO Lounge. Then later on tonight, for North America, we will have Splice versus Enemy and Dogmen versus Conquest. So the next match will be starting in about an hour and 20 minutes. So you've got a short break before we come back, but we will look forward to the Polish standoff. We will see you a bit later on.